Welcome to Bentley's Backwoods Bushcrafting. Today I'm going to do a little bit of prepping. Now my prepping may be a little different than other people's prepping. I use prepping as a modernized version of things that I may not be able to make out in the woods, and I use it to compensate and to be prepared for an incident that I may run into. Today I'm going to make char cloth, and although char cloth can be made out in the woods just as easily as it's made here, I'm going to use my stove. Now the difference is if you're in the woods, just exchange the stove for a campfire. It basically works the same way, but I want to show you how this is done here. So first, just get a tin, and this is just a little small cookie tin that I got at the dollar store. It cost me $1. I don't consider it really cost me anything because I love these little butter cookies. So I paid $1 for the cookies and got the tin for free. So I use these for my storage and for making char cloth and stuff. I keep one of these in my kit, and all you do is just put a hole in the top so that the gases can escape. And from there, I got a shirt, a 100% cotton shirt that I cut up, and I got this shirt for free. It was one of those, go here and get free clothing if you need it. So I got me a shirt, and I cut it into little squares. And basically all I'm going to do is just place 6 pieces of this in here, and I'm going to close it up. Keep it closed. Then all I'm going to do is just set it onto the stove there, and I'm going to let that heat up. And I'm really horrible with editing and things like that. I'm not skilled with it, so we may have to sit here and wait for it to heat up to watch so that I don't mess up the editing. But we're going to scoot in on here. Maybe we can discuss some other stuff while that's working. But yeah, this works just as well on a campfire. Get your campfire going, and simply just there you go. You can see the smoke coming out of there now. So all you do is just let that sit in your campfire if you're not doing the prepping, urbanizing way of doing it, and just let it sit there until all the smoke is done coming out. We'll see if we can't leave this running. Hopefully it's not too boring for you. But yeah, we let this set in the campfire if you're out in the woods, or in this case on the stove. And you can see the smoke coming out of that, and it's charring it up, and it's not burning. It's actually just charring up. But as far as prepping goes, from my prepping standpoint, I at one time went through the whole gathering stores of food and things to that nature. But my ideas and beliefs about if I ever need this kind of stuff don't really lend itself to the gathering of large materials. I'm going to turn the fan on here real quick. There we go. Hopefully that doesn't interfere with hearing me talk. But yeah, gathering up massive amounts of materials and keeping them stored really doesn't fall in line with my prepping idea, because although bugging in will be nice if you can do it, I'm looking more on the long term, and my beliefs is that mobility is what's going to keep people alive. I'm a I'm a firm believer that movement is what's going to determine the difference between surviving something like that that's going to be long term and versus not surviving it. So yeah, a little bit smoky in here. That's one of the drawbacks. And that's why I waited until my wife went to work, because she would not be happy. I've done this before, and believe me, I heard about it. So what we're going to do is we're going to let that continue until all the smoke comes out of there. So the good thing is actually you'll get to see how long it actually takes. Like I said, it doesn't take a whole long time, but so anyway, back to the prepping. So I believe that mobility is ultimately the long-term survival situation. Now, I don't mind bugging in if it's going to be a short time, and if you're able to. But once that time is over and mobility becomes the situation, it's going to be impossible to carry all of the gathered up materials and food supplies. And plus, water is very, very heavy, so you're not going to be able to just carry massive amounts of water. So what I've decided is I'll keep a small store of food that will be a nice, short-term bug-in, 3-4 months maybe. But after that, it's if it lasts 3-4 months, it's not a bug-in situation for me anymore. At that point, it's a mobility issue. But this is one way to create char cloth. So it's starting to calm down a little bit. You see the smoke is actually starting to dissipate. We're 7 minutes into it. Let's back that up just a tad bit here. I'll leave that going. But also, what I'll do while that's still working, if I can, so I'll show you this tin. This tin here is where I store my char cloth. It's kind of dark, you won't be able to see it. But anyway, here's the char cloth. This is what it looks like. There you go. This is what it looks like after it's been charred. And it's just a large amount. I've got plenty of char cloth. It's not anything I'm going to run out of anytime soon. Got a nice little store of it. And that's my prepping. That's the stuff that I prepare for. I know I'm going to use char cloth for fire, so I make sure that I have a nice little tin of it in my kit. So now we can see the smoke is almost dissipated. Let's zoom in here just a tad bit. We're at 9 minutes right now. A little bit of smoke still coming out of there. We'll try to keep these videos around 10 minutes. We'll let that sit just for a few more seconds. Zoom back out here. There we go. So once the smoke subsides, take it out of the fire, and in this case take it off the stove, and we'll let that sit. Till it cools down. But that's how you make char cloth. And then, like I said, let me get this other tin open. There we go. Then it turns into this nice little charry substance here. So we're at 10 minutes right now. Yeah, there's no way that that's going to cool down in time to actually show you on this video. But that's char cloth. That's how to make my urbanized prepper version of char cloth. Thanks for watching Bentley's Backwoods Bushcrafting.